And these are a few details of the green roof. We're facing north. The highway is right adjacent here to the green roof. And what I wanted to look at was some sort of buffer. So this is really similar to the ASLA green roof, where it has a sloped green roof. And I used it as a buffer from the highway, so it actually directs your views up and over across the highway. And it's also a sound barrier, and it has multi-functions because you can store stuff behind it as well. I also wanted to get into some fun stuff. I wanted to make sustainability fun. So I proposed solar panel trees because I didn't want to plant trees on the parking garage as a green roof. So I wanted solar panels to provide electricity for the green roof, or for the parking garage, and also provide shade because it does get hot and rainy during the summer. And the last thing that I have on here is a detail of the graded walkway. And again, that's very similar to the ASLA green roof, where you have the plantings underneath here. The water still comes under here with the drainage. However, you can walk on top of it because you plant itty-bitty little sedums that come up, and as you walk, it kind of maintains itself. The second focal area that I want to get into is the parking lot rain gardens. And again, I use the same process. I have another focal board with all the areas that I looked at for the concepts. And this was the final parking plan that I recommended for the site. It does look at stormwater and how it catches it, and this is a major section of it. I wanted to really look at how the water was flowing into it and how I can maybe multi-use it, not just make it a parking lot. Maybe I can make it more of a destination where people could have this as a great amenity right here, shade from the trees. So this is serving as a function of catching rainwater. And then you have this function here as an open space where you can use it for tailgating or any other functions that you might want for the parking area. I also use the parking area to improve the wayfinding of the site by adding in special, a specific type of tree for the pathways versus the actual just plantings. And this is an example of maybe a few multi-uses that I could use for the site parking lot, whereas you have the typical baseball game where you have the tailgaters along the rain garden here, and then the second one I looked at was maybe a festival setting where you could close this off, make this strictly a pedestrian street, and you could have the amenities of having the vegetation and the shade, and have the pedestrian path throughout the parking lot. So throughout these processes, this is the final master plan that I had come up with. Again, incorporating my program elements and the processes that I had worked throughout this entire semester for this project. And I wanted to come with final conclusions for my project. I did a few calculations and came up with some numbers to see how I had improved the site throughout my process. I did reduce the impervious surfaces, which was one of the main goals of my project, and I reduced them by over 80%. I increased the open space by over 1,200%. I also increased the total number of parking spots, and another goal of mine was to decrease the runoff, which I did that with providing the open spaces. A few of the things that I learned throughout this whole process is one of the most important things was what sounds sustainable may not be. I did a lot of research on not only green roofs but green walls, and I found that for my site specifically that I didn't think that it was the most sustainable option for my site. I really expanded the definition of sustainability, and I didn't use just environmental sustainability. I really looked at the economic sustainability of the site and also the social, especially with the connections to the residential areas. I learned how to take risks. As you can see from my first concepts, they were very, in between the lines, where my second concept really pushed the boundaries and kind of took the risk to see what I could do with the site. A few other things I learned was I wanted to really try to incorporate the cutting-edge technologies, such as the green roofs and the rainwater gardens, to make them applied within my site. And the last thing that I want to conclude was I really learned how to keep an open mind, because some of my ideas worked and some of them didn't, but in the end I came up with a master plan that I felt was acceptable for this site. Thank you very much.